You are watching the biggest, the largest, the highest, the greatest, the tallest, and the toughest African spiritual platform. I'm always your queen. Hadasha call me Empress Makida. I am La Braska, the sun goddess. I am the spear of destiny. I am the pride of your ancestor. I am preaching consciousness to the public so we are able to liberate our continent as Africans. All black nations, wherever you are, my love to you. We are one people. Let's work on ourselves so we are able to unite, so we are able to liberate our continent. I welcome you. Love, and hate. Hate is another great episode. Let's welcome our guests on set for today. It's a great topic. It's going to be a great episode. Papa, we welcome you to Revelations.
Thank you very much.
Great. This is your first time on this bigger platform. Please, I want you to pay obeisance or greet my people, my subscribers, my followers. They make this platform the biggest. We can't do without them. So pay obeisance or homage to them and introduce yourself to us before we get into your topic.
Okay. My name is Nanaya Kweku Andoh Bafo, and I'm Communications Director for Food Sovereignty Ghana. I'm very pleased to be on Revelations, Jerome TV. Keep watching Jerome TV. Get all the wisdom and knowledge.
We welcome you. We appreciate your presence on this platform. Abusia, this is our guest for today. Now, it's going to be great because he's going to talk about what concerns me. I'm a farmer. If you know, you know. So, eduane is very important to me. Until we are going to discuss the GMO food and why Ghanaians should be concerned. A very huge topic. But before we get into that, I want to ask 2-3 things and then we take it from there. We've learned or we've heard that cassava that has things in that was not our food. It was brought to us as black people. What is it about? Is it true? What do you know about this?
Yeah, cassava originated from South America. So when the whole Atlantic slave trade was happening, the Portuguese brought cassava to Africa. You know, our traditional foods were things like millet, sorghum, fonio. Those are alkaline grains. Cassava, maize was brought from Mexico. Maize was not a food that was indigenously African. So that's why it's important to save the seeds of your ancestors. The food that every human being eats, you know, your body is the most complex form of creation, if you'll agree with me. We have all these machines around, these cameras that are looking at us. This camera doesn't have the power of my eye. If this guy was to leave his camera on for one full day, recording me, he'd have to go back and forth to his hard drive and be downloading. Can you imagine how many pictures your eye has seen since yesterday? And a very high quality pixel. And then let's add the day before and last week and last year and then in the 90s. You're talking of a massive, complex creation. We are moving, we are pumping, we are alive. And yet the fuel that functions and fuels this system is organic food. I don't care who you are, where you come from in the world. The supreme creation that created this body has specifically provided that what refuels this very complex machinery is organic food. The minute you start eating inorganic food, that's like putting water mixed with your fuel into your kantanka.
It will not move.
Or whatever it is. So same with the battery that this camera runs on. If you put another type of battery in or you don't put the right plug, it won't charge. So with our bodies, if you don't eat organic food, all the systems can't charge up, can't use the minerals and the vitamins in the way they're supposed to. So as a civil society organization, Food Sovereignty Ghana is against this whole drive to genetically modify the foods of the world. It's unfortunate because you see there's a double standard in this world. You go to Europe, you see that you walk in the aisle, there's 2 prices. There's something they call organic food. That's food that's not been sprayed with chemicals or fertilizer. It's not been genetically modified. This was the food of our ancestors. Our ancestors didn't have any label of organic. It was just how we lived, very natural. interdependent on nature. Today we have people with ulterior motives, business interests, commercial interests, profit-oriented people who are chasing the money to the last kobo and cent, such that what happens as they seek that money doesn't matter. Who gets destroyed on the way to getting that money doesn't matter. What river gets destroyed, what land gets destroyed, what species of insect gets eradicated, if the bees of the world are vanishing, it doesn't matter. We need our money. This is the philosophy that's driving the food production on the continent and the planet so far. And so if you're not careful, the very wise ways of our ancestors will be lost forever. You know, our ancestors understood who we are, where we are living, and so we have to interact with nature. So our ancestors couldn't poison the river that we're going to drink from. They couldn't poison the very land that they're going to eat from. They built houses such that the house would be cool. If you walk into a traditional African hut, there's no AC. It is cool in the heat of the day. You ask yourself, I was in one yesterday. You ask yourself, what is this about our African technology? But we have this perception since colonialism came, our everything is rubbished to the side. The calabash we used to eat in and drink water in, we rubbish to the side. We're now using plastic, so we all have microplastics in our body. The wache leaf that we used to eat, we now wrap it in plastic. And the cocoa we used to drink in a calabash, this hot cocoa, you can't even hold it in your hand. Can you imagine how much plastic is melting in it before it cools down? If you do this every single day of the year, what are you doing to your body? So what is going on with the food systems of Ghana and Africa in general is a very, very serious thing. And every single black person, especially parents, must be aware. Because you and I grew up eating certain kinds of foods. You and I grew up, I'm not saying you're old, but you came from a time when Indomie was not a meal. Noodles and pizzas were not meals. People weren't eating chicken that has been dead in a country and been shipped to us, been in a warehouse freezer for 5 years and coming to Ghana. The rice we're eating was not rice coming from Vietnam. We're eating very healthy. And so people lived longer. There was no child cancer ward at Kolebu. There was no child diabetes. When we were young, if someone died, it means the person had an accident or something bad happened to them. But that health is a serious problem now. So our food, the thing that we're putting in our bodies is what is manifesting in all the lifestyle diseases, cardiovascular diseases, high blood pressure, diabetes, is the food that we're eating. Our ancestors didn't eat food like that. Even if you look at the animals, the way they eat, a monkey will climb a tree, eat oranges. When he finishes eating oranges, he'll move to a tree. If he finds alungun to go, he'll eat that. He doesn't have a buffet where he has one hand in the orange tree, one hand alungun to tree. He's doing a buffet like we humans do today. Our food has become very complex, and we're wondering why it manifests in so much disease. So if you look at the kind of food our ancestors ate, there's a reason why they lived long. There's a reason why you go to villages, you see an 80-year-old woman still walking to a farm. So we are saying at Food Sovereignty Ghana, Ghana must be aware that this whole drive to fool the world into thinking that, oh, the population is increasing so much, what are we going to eat? There is land upon land upon land. If you only knew 40% of our produce every year rots on the farm. Every year in Ghana, 40% of what farmers produce.
No car, no roads.
No car, no roads. So we are saying as a civil society organization to our governments, our policymakers, why don't you build roads from the farm gates to the market? Why don't you build warehouses so that food that is harvested doesn't rot? Weevils don't go into it, the rats won't eat it. Give farmers credit. Let banks loan money to farmers. You will see a difference in agriculture. But we're trying to do the very high pole vault things when we haven't even managed the things on the ground. It's like you're in kindergarten. Grow the food, harvest it. You want to do GMO. You need these labs to do GMO. You need the funding from Western countries to do GMO. If it wasn't for money coming from Western countries, nobody in Ghana would be talking of GMO. But they're trying to make it seem like GMO is the best outcome, the best path we can take. But we can learn a lesson from what has happened. You see, history repeats itself. In the 70s, people came to Ghana with the same kind of research. In fact, they came to Africa in general. They told us that palm oil, coconut oil, shea nut oil, they're high in cholesterol. stop eating them. So what do? We threw it under the bus.
Now they are promoting it there.
Now we have hydrogenated fats. I won't even mention the biggest oil brand in Ghana. The hydrogenated fats that people are now eating is what is causing cardiovascular disease. And the little coconut oil bottle that you want to buy on the shelf in the supermarket outside, it'll cost you several pounds, several euros, lots of dollars. So this thing of follow that we keep doing just for some small money, it takes you around the corner where you can't find yourself back home. So now we find that coconut oil is the healthier oil. What do? Somebody told you that it was not healthy. You can't follow, you have to have your own path, you have to have your own mind. And this is why leadership and organization is everything. And I bow to Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah for the kind of leadership, because you see, leadership is about a holistic appreciation of what it is I want for my people. Like a mother, like a father, what you want for your children. So Kwame Nkrumah understood the politics that one day people will want to come and take our seeds. Now if you go to the north, you go to rural areas, you see that farmers don't have seeds anymore that they keep in their barn where they tie it, where they are making some smoke, and the smoke doesn't allow the insects to come. Most farmers now have to buy from a shop. You see him get on his bicycle or his motorbike, go to the nearest commercial center. If he gets there and the store is closed, you miss a rain where he's going back to. I mean, so you're talking about the control of human beings in a few hands. And if you look at it, there's only about 6 companies in the world that are controlling the food system of the world. And they are the ones who are telling us that you must grow food with fertilizer, you must grow food with chemicals.
Put spray on the wheat.
This spray that we spray, you know the local name. They call it condemn. If you go to the rural areas, they'll tell you, oh, I'm looking for condemn. But what's the meaning of that word? Condemn. You're going to condemn your land. So people think that it's expensive. Oh, I can't get boys to weed. Nobody's in the land. Everybody's left. We think it's a cheaper way to manage farming now. I'm telling you, the long-term cost, when your land can no longer give you fruit, just like a woman, land is fertile. If you keep putting chemicals on the land, it'll come a year when the land will not produce anything. At that point, which one is more costly? The spraying or using cutlass to cut? So we have to decide who it is we are, where we want to go. And it's amazing that most other peoples on the planet know who they are. They have been able to either connect to their old ancient greatness. You look at China today. China is only great today because they've gone back in history to go and retrieve their greatness, Sankofa. They knew that there was a Chinese empire those days. They did this and that and this and that. That is what has informed them to get to where they want to be today. Ghana, the Chinese are our small brothers and sisters. When you talk of the human race, everybody on this planet is our small brother and sister. We brought mathematics and science and engineering and art to the planet. So if Africans don't know who they are, you will not know that your dawa dawa is the healer of wounds. You will not know that your prekese can do this. You will not know that your wintia can do this, and so on and so forth. So we must cherish who we are before we want to be what everybody says, oh, jump. So now there's something terrible happening in Ghana, which is that, you know our cowpea, we call it beans, the black-eyed pea. This bean is a very special food. In fact, that bean was taken across the Atlantic by our ancestors. If you go to South Carolina, North Carolina, there's a place called the Gula Islands where people still eat something like wache, rice and beans. That bean was taken there. The government of Ghana now wants to release a genetically modified version of that bean. So very soon, you'll be eating wache, which has genetically modified beans in it, or tubani, red, or aokose. It's happening in Nigeria already. Nigeria has released genetically modified cowpea, and it comes through our borders. So if you go to the market, some of it is coming through our borders. And you're asking yourself, where are the tests to show that if a human being eats this food for 1 year, what will happen to his liver, what will happen to his kidney? The car that you drive, before they put that car on the road, let's say it's a 4-wheel drive, they'll put it on the road from here to the back of Mali to test how many rotations of the tire, 40,000 rotations of the tire, windscreen wiper must work 50,000 times, it doesn't break, before they say this car is good for human use. What about the food that's going to go in African mouths?
Sambeni.
We just come with a little inducement, and our policymakers want to follow. Our ancestors have the wisdom, our ways of life, the way we used to farm without chemicals. Someone is now teaching you to condemn your soil. In 4, 5, 6, 7 years' time, there'll be lots of lands that cannot produce anymore. So at that point, which one is the more costly? So Ghana must open their eyes. I'm calling on all the mothers and fathers in your homes watching this program. You must choose the future you want for your children. Whether your children will be healthy, cancer-free, be able to give birth, it all depends on what you're going to put in them. We are also like computers, like I said, but the highest form. Garbage in, garbage out. So we have a serious thing to do to educate Ghanaians that, look, eat the healthy. We come from a land where we have coconut. This is the most nourishing drink on the planet. All these energy drinks, this is the most healthy energy drink. Electrolytes, live. Coconut water is something, if you are stranded somewhere where there's no food and you are in a very low state, you can even administer coconut water into your blood as a drip. It's a pure food. We have all these foods in Ghana, alasan, sour soup. But we are chasing apples that have been shipped from South Africa. It has fallen from the tree a few months ago, went to the port in Durban or wherever, before it's shipped, before it gets to Takrade or Tema, before it goes to a warehouse, before you get it.
Fish.
Come on.
Common fish.
So we have our food policy upside down. And that's because we don't own ourselves. We are independent, but we are not free.
Why are we not free?
Because we don't know ourselves. Because if you don't know yourself, you sell yourself short. So people come to you and they offer us everything.
How do we know ourselves?
By knowing your history. If you know your history, you know where you come from. You know that our ancestors built those pyramids. That it wasn't aliens who built the pyramids. Anything that they can't understand, they say it wasn't us that did it. It can't be us. Mathematics, science, reading the stars. The Dogon people knew that there was a star beyond what the telescope could see until it was discovered. How did those people know these ancient science forms? Healing, how to identify healing herbs. That's a very high science. How did our ancestors know it? But we've accepted that, oh, look at how we're dressing. But how do you need to dress in the heat? How do you need to make your house if you just need to sleep, wake up in the morning? But you see now, we've lost who we are. So we've created this mad system. You go outside right now, people are driving the road from Kasoa to Accra, 5 hours, children are coming home at 8 o'clock in the night, sleeping, waking up at 4. This is a mad system that we're living in.
We are mad though.
So coming back to the most important thing, our food. That madness is on our food, and our policymakers need to open their eyes and see that there's so many tricks in the world. They're telling you that the world is overpopulated. But you can drive from here to Techima and look at all the land. Look at the Volta River that's going into the sea. When it rains, we don't do any water harvesting. Then a few months later, there's no water.
We don't care. Like, oh God.
So it's a serious thing. The parents, you know, because of politics, if parents don't take an active interest in this thing we're talking about food, it's your children who will go to Kolebu. The Kolebu ward is there for them. Cancer ward. If you like your children to go to cancer ward, keep giving them these noodles. Keep feeding them these new foods. Because those ancient foods give people strength.
But wait, let's look at these things from this angle.
Yeah.
When you go to the village, like I said, me, I'm a farmer, so I'm always in the village.
Sure.
What you see here in Accra and the things we do here, it's not same in the village.
No.
Why is it so?
They are still closer to that old life that we used to live. You go to the village, most people in the village are not holding 5 cedis in their pocket. But he's a human being walking around. He can beat you. He's stronger than you. He just needs money to buy credit and battery. His food is coming from the land. His fish is coming from the land. His oil is coming from the land. Everything is coming from the land. He's empowered. He's rich. God made us rich. But we're living in a system where now it's like telling somebody who is a a football champion that you are forcing him to go and play hockey. He can't be good there. So let's do what is good for us. Let's eat what is good for us. Let's plant what is good for our land, because that is what we'll do best here. So
this education you are giving us here, where have you taken it to?
Well, Food Sovereignty Ghana, we are a civil society organization, so we have a website, we have a Facebook page, and then we do a lot of public interaction. We talk to market women, taxi drivers. We've had lots of debates with chiefs in different traditional areas. We go there and we try to advise them that, look, the way you are doing this farming, your ancestors were not doing this. The river is dying. The bees that pollinate the forests. You see those tall trees that a human being cannot climb to go and say, oh, you come and mate this one and then give us fruit. That work is done by bees and insects. When you spray chemicals, those bees, they die. Then that huge tree, 10 years ago when you used to see its flowers, it won't flower anymore. You're asking why. The thing that pollinates it is dead because of your condemn. So it's a vicious cycle where we are killing ourselves because we don't value what it is, our traditional way of living.
I asked that question because mostly you will hear this issue, these things, or this kind of communication on social media. Like you said, you have website, you have this. But there are villages that don't know what is called website.
Yes.
And these innocent people that are there, like coronavirus came, nobody wants to go to the village. When coronavirus came and they locked down, they carried the virus from here and went and give it to them in the village, the innocent ones. These things have been going on. Where I went to, a deeper village, there was this condemned thing. They were spraying under the farm. But the thing is, you are giving us this education, and the education is on the internet, and you are giving it to the chiefs. So no one care. How do you get this to the people? There are people who care about this continent, but they don't have access to internet. They don't have. You go to a very deep village that they don't know what you are talking about.
Actually, you're right, because most of Ghana is actually off the road, the main road. When we are on the Kumasi main road, you see some small road going in here. Go in there and see. Then it goes inside. That's where most Ghanaians are living. And we do like derbers where we go, but there's a lot of work because all the money is on the other side. A lot of the money belongs to the big companies who want this commercial, fast, chemical-paced life. And unfortunately, a lot of the resources are on that side. So it's the little things that we can get to do the work we do. If we're going to go to a village, we have to rent money, get a van, put up a screen, show a video. But small, we're getting there. But we've been doing this for 11 years now, food sovereignty, because we were registered in 2013. And I would say that more people know about GMO now, even though we still need to do a lot of work. But there have been a few artists that have even made songs against GMO. So the education is coming, but there's a strong lobby from the other side. So we still need to keep up our work. Like I said, there are policymakers who know that what they are doing is not the best for Ghana, but someone is dictating to them.
Why?
That's how we've created our society, that we listen to what comes from outside. We don't decide for ourselves.
And otherwise, I'm asking, why is it so? Why?
Oh, it's an old story because we let ourselves down. It comes back to believing who you are. Because just like you dressed well before you came on set, you don't want to be looking scruffy, you don't want to, you bathed before you came here because you respect yourself. If you don't respect yourself, you wouldn't probably care how you came to sit here with anybody in public. So if you respect yourself, somebody is begging for food. Oh, me, I'll have food when I get home. Me, I'll eat. Charlie, look at the lion, giddy giddy. Charlie, me, I'll go home. I'm not going to beg. I respect myself. Oh, I'm going there. You are calling me from far. Call my name. I respect myself. I don't turn. So if you respect yourself, it makes certain things fall in place. And Africans, we lost respect for ourselves. So everybody who comes with a shiny coin, it's like it can be a 1 cedi coin, but it looks better than a 200 cedi note because this one is a shiny coin. That's how we look at the life. We are walking on gold, literally, and we are poor.
Hey.
So we have to go back to a self-respect for ourselves, and you see that we are the ones who created all these different kinds of vegetables. We tamed the earth, you see. So now when you have the youngest members of the human family trying to teach us what to do. It's us who knew what Nunum does, us who knew more ginger and prekese and all that. You look at something like KFC. That old man didn't know nothing about spices. He probably saw.
Wait. Me don't say KFC. Will come and
then
that chicken that is in the box.
The chicken in the box, no. That chicken in the box. That chicken in the box, which is supposed to be the best chicken in the world. Go and ask where that old man found the recipe for that chicken. Where does he know about cloves or all those spices that go on the chicken? It was because the people who were working for them were all slaves. All the centers of work and production in the farmhouse, in the kitchen,
blacks,
in the tool shed, blacks, in the wood house.
Up till now,
that's
blacks. Where
you see an invention. If you left something in the kitchen overnight, you came back tomorrow, something's happening to it. It's because you're in the kitchen, you're working. They were just they pull the chair out, come and sit down, put the chair inside, lay the table. So we have given the world everything, and we must remember that and find ourselves back. Otherwise, everybody will continue to offer it, and you can see what's happening. Now the Chinese are the latest to come here, and it's like we don't see the bigger picture happening again. Everything happening again. But we have to open our eyes.
We have to.
Sankofa.
We have to. So what can we do now? Now this is the problem. Everything we are saying is the problem. I always want solutions.
Sure.
So give me 5 structures that you think you can put in place. If this country should be given to you as a president, 5 structures that you can put in place to change this. Knowing ourselves, eating, everything, the problems you are finding with us.
Sure. First of all, like I said, every family will have to understand that we are Africans. And so because we're Africans, a certain way of life and our culture is what you can't put a Lamborghini on a rough road. It won't do its best. Put a Land Rover on a rough road, it's in its natural area. So you can't be who you're not. So I would advise that starts from the home. Today, everybody is being brought up on phones. Little children are being brought up by their nannies or by phones, what they learn on the phones. But our ancient culture used to teach children will sit next to grandmother and they'll be transmitting that ancient knowledge that this woman who's lived till 96, what she's learned of her whole life, she's now going to pass it to you. Call you, say, hey, come sit down. Hey, you know what? And tell you something that she knows that if I didn't tell you this thing, it'll take you 70 years to learn. Let me tell you now. We've lost who we are, how we live. If there's an elderly person now, nobody's going to get up and say, oh, please, madam, sit down. Because we are following people's lifestyle, people's values, people's morals, and their benchmark. And it's only going to take us to become the kind of people that they would want to create out of us. So family first, Africans must understand who they are. Second, what we have must be cherished. Our environment, our seeds. We must eat what comes from our local surroundings. That is going to be likely the best food for our bodies and also survive the environment. If you take a seed from Salaga in the north, you bring it to Nzema land, it's not likely to do as best as if it was growing in Salaga because it knows the kind of rainfall, the kind of sunlight and so on. So our agriculture must be localized. We must eat what we know and what comes closest to us. So no one will tell you that it's because of Russia and Ukraine are fighting that Banchi price is different, or that tomatoes.
That's why I'm saying, our agriculture should be localized. Our agriculture is the same. It's just that there's no push.
Yes.
You get it?
Because if our onions can come from Niger and Niger doesn't have water like us, then there's something wrong with what we're doing. If Burkina has less water than us and we get tomatoes from them, there's something about what we're doing. But these things used to happen under good leadership. Under Kwame Nkrumah's time, nobody was going to Burkina to look for tomatoes. We had a Poilugu tomato factory. We had a Volta corn beef factory. We had everything. Because leadership makes sure that you think in a big way,
Songo salt is there, closed.
We had everything. Go and see Aveime rice factory. It's closed. Everything is shut down. Our warehouses have become churches. You go to the industrial area, we are jumping up and down, waiting for But this week is the Messiah's week. So people are waiting for him to drop from the sky. And where we used to produce to eat, we are now waiting, praising somebody's ancestor.
I remember, there was this meat house, if you remember. It's in Jowulu.
Yes, no,
there was this meat house where people go and sell cow and goat. If you want cheaper meat, that's where you should go. It's now a church. It
was so well planned. You see the motorway, the little bridge under the motorway, the tunnel. That thing was made by Kwame Nkrumah for cows to pass the motorway. Now we use it for cars, but somebody was thinking that for grazing, if the cows are leaving these areas, they must pass here. So we're not thinking anymore, and people are thinking for us. So they call meetings, they call conferences, they say, oh, you come to Washington, D.C., come to New York, come for 5 days. Here's your ticket. You come, this is the agenda. You go back to your country. So we keep going round in circles because everybody wants to show you how to get to where you need to go. But you must decide where you want to go, and then you work backwards from that. So that's Africa's problem. Give credit to farmers. We are basically an agrarian society. If you make it a law in your country that banks, their portfolio, by law, you must give 5% of your loan portfolio to farmers. We don't care how you do it. You want to operate in Ghana, you want a banking license, that's what you must do. Banks will come, they will do it. Build roads from the farm gates to the market. It will open the country up. It will allow food not to rot on the farm. Then the price of food will not be expensive. Building warehousing facilities, you'll be able to store the food there so that weevils and rats will not spoil a whole harvest. You know, these are the things that we should do, and being proud of our own brown rice is the healthiest rice on the planet. But the one we're eating has been bleached. The color of brown rice, before it gets to the one we like, they've washed off everything off it. But that's the one we like because of the way it looks, and they say it's perfumed. But if you go outside, you want to buy a small bag of the Volta brown rice, it's too expensive. But it comes because it's quality. So we rather have everything. You know, we are like spoiled children. We are like our parents had a whole lane in Trasacco. And if you see them today, say, hey, these people, if you know their father, Charlie, those days, hey, their father, these children, but we are spoiled. We don't know what to do with our legacy. We're walking on gold and we are begging. And so this goes to our policymaker that they must think, how come we're doing a show like this in Ghana? How come our policy is such that someone can bring chicken from Brazil cheaper than a hard-working poultry farmer can produce that chicken? It means the way you structured it is wrong. Because in this country, he can't allow Ghana chicken just enter the market like that. He can't get Ghana rice to come all the way from Vietnam and be cheaper than rice grown in Ghana. There's something wrong with your policy. But you see, it has to do with follow. If you follow, people will try to show you.
Now, go to airport now, easily. Now free ho ba now de wo to niama kakra bi mpa wo de ba wa de wo be kom because we are black. We are Ghana ni. Yet ye kurom so ye ho ntoyen. Ahwo ye better than us.
Meanwhile we are blessed, but they'll come here and find paradise because we are living in paradise. So you see foreigners come here. Foreigners are making it here.
No, they are making it.
Because we live in paradise, but we haven't adjusted ourselves to say, look.
Is it not mobilization? Because the Chrome alone.
Yes, it's part of it. It's part of it because their government knows what they need to support their citizens. So someone in Ghana here will get a loan from the Chinese government to build something in Ghana that he knows is going to help China. So they are pushing you, go and do it, come. Let them buy our goods. So they'll give you money. So it's like someone who says, a little girl who says she wants to do Jerome TV in another country. You would allow her to do Jerome TV because she's going to help more people do Jerome TV for you. But we need to realize that this is our land. So people come in here, they are sand winning in our rivers, making tilapia farm, putting antibiotics in the rivers, people drinking water down the river. You can't do these things in their country. There's nobody named Kojo or Kwamina or Kofi in China who has put his leg in a river to say he wants to take a bucket of water, not even sand or gold, a bucket of water. You can't do it.
I had your baby.
So we don't respect ourselves. We don't respect ourselves.
We are watching the biggest, so just say, in some na kuko komidom pim. I come in factories, new companies, a work room. Where are they? What is worrying us?
Every child in Ghana.
We live a bigger life because the cars say what Ghana. There are places when you go in the night, the cars are ubehu. I don't think every child should be poor here because there is money here.
There's a lot of money.
Kawunya 18 years, who we school, I per capital. I mean, what can we do?
You know, in Dubai, every year in Dubai, around January, February, they have a gold market, international gold market. They do flyers and posters, the proper promotion marketing. The whole world comes to Dubai to do what? To buy gold. There's no gold in the sand in Dubai. They get it from different places, and look at what they've done to make a shop for their gold. We here who are living on the gold, do we think in that way to even invite anybody here? Even the gold we have, we don't own most of it. This is our problem. But it's a historic problem because you see, when you had leadership like Kwame Nkrumah who understood the value of our resources to the point where they said, like, some of the resources, if we can't get the right people to bring it out for us, leave it in the ground for future generations. Don't bring it out now, we'll be cheated. Leave it because in 200 years, Ghanaian children will still enjoy that. But if you bring it out now, we say we don't have this, we don't have that. So someone says, hey, you know, I can help you. He takes everything from you. That one is not better. Leave it. We had leadership like that who thought far. Our neighbors now, Burkina, just above us, they started to get sense. They just opened a gold refinery. That means they're not going to be sending any raw gold out of Burkina anymore. Do you know what that means for that country? That means that the raw gold they used to ship out, it will be added value. That's jobs for Burkinabes. They just opened a mining waste factory. So now all our mining waste, you don't need to send it out to Europe anymore. It can go to Burkina. They've now gotten leadership which is thinking intergenerational. You see, the kind of leadership we have here, they think for themselves and his stomach alone. Sometimes they're so selfish, like this GMO thing. He doesn't even know even his own children are going to suffer from it. But when people think intergenerational, they build things. It's like the people who plant a baobab tree. Our grandfathers didn't see that baobab tree. They didn't sit under it to eat its fruit. It is for future generations. That's how other people think. Our thing is now, here. So we have a serious problem to re-engineer our minds. And that's why Kwame Nkrumah was saying that he was trying to produce a new African philosophy, an African personality. Because from when you know yourself, everything will fall in place. Simple. Everything will fall in place. You will value yourself. You will not accept what is less for you.
Your advice to the public, the people, from leadership to whoever, to church, to schools, because if we should all hold part, we are able to drive this to where it's supposed to get to. Hey, when the Ghanaians said we are poor, when somebody's Africans are poor, it hurts, Papa. How?
It's an untruth.
One person wants to have everything.
Yeah.
Self-hate.
Yeah. It's greed, and you're going to die and move with not a tile from your house, not a nothing. And so it's like, but you see, in our traditional structure, we knew this, we lived like that. So we even have in the Akan philosophy, even the way that they would benefit future generations matrilineally. So even Wafase, it's a structure to make sure that the whole town, village, community is looked after. Because if it was just direct people, but now, look, I have a duty to look after that one and this one. It's a social structure. You go to countries, because of the way they live and their values, we are people who think about human beings. We're concerned about people. That's why we have, you know, cultures like before we eat, mpachome nsaka. That is a high human value to say, look, if you haven't eaten, here is food. Because what is food? If today I eat and tomorrow I don't have, you give me some. These are people who are thinking high, not how we think today.
Will this thing ever stop, or will it change?
If we don't see ourselves, because the next people are here for the second round. The Chinese are here for round 2.
Huh. The way they are doing gari and yam and cocoa and mango.
Yeah.
The way they've planted mango and pineapple.
Look at that. And we have the Volta River flowing into the sea. Oh, God. Flowing into the sea, the freshest water. And we don't know what to do with it. Meanwhile, there are countries that are farming on rocks and salty land, and they are exporting rather to us. So leadership is key. Osajifo said leadership, organization is key. If you have a leader who understands, that's what I'm saying. If you look at Burkina now, you can see that they are thinking intergenerational. What do we do today for future people to be okay? You can't have a foreign company who's controlling your water. The water that goes to every home. Do you know what's going inside? Here, we have someone come and build even our president's office. Another country will come and build it. Do you know what they'll put in the walls when they build your president's office? When they build your foreign affairs building? Do you know what they'll put in your walls?
They decide to put you down one day, one time, sharp.
So
Mercy.
we must develop our own systems, and we must be comfortable with what we have. You see, we don't need to create this whole AI and this whole technology. No. Life is very simple.
Simple.
It's because we've gone that way now that you need something called artificial. And why would you need something artificial if you have something that has intelligence already? You want to create this artificial mode. So today you have artificial intelligence, yes, which makes life easier sometimes, but there's a balance. Now, there are people whose cars can lock them inside their car and the window will not open because there's something wrong with the machine. Now, you can't open your own car. You want to enter your house, because of AI, you record your voice, it records your voice. The day you come home and it's raining, or
light off,
there's somebody passing on the road with a loudspeaker, it doesn't recognize your voice anymore, then you are locked out of your house.
Where your life?
This is your AI. So, trust me, human beings, they'll go around and come back to square one. We'll go back to building houses where you don't need AC. We'll go back to planting food where you don't need to put chemicals on it. And that's the way we need to go. Sankofa. That's the only solution for Africans. Because we used to live, and I will go against any African who brings this thing of, you are bringing us back. You don't want us to advance. What is advancement? Because what is advancement when you die from diseases, when your rivers are spoiled, when the air is polluted, when your children don't have morals? What development is that? So it's not about following everybody, it's about carving your own lifestyle. And every nation has developed within its own understanding of what it is. If you go to India, they teach mathematics in Hindi. The Chinese teach mathematics and physics, chemistry. Sometimes I'll watch a Chinese person on the phone and the way they are doing it, I can't understand what's on the screen, but he's doing the same thing we're doing, but it's structured for them. When are we going to have those things? Meanwhile, it's our technology that is driving the computer. Ancient African technology, binary systems that came from Ifa that is in computer systems.
So this thing, we've said it, the BIN, we brought alchemy, we brought this. How can we recover them? Is there hope? That's my point. Because me right now, I want people to move and then we move in action. Like I'm tired of listening to we brought this, but we need anything.
Yeah, it's about closing our hand. It's in our hand. Now we have to close your hand. It was given to you. Now you must close your hand and hold it. You don't want to hold it. You can't ride a bike free. Hold the handles. You'll be able to steer where you want to go.
Where is the handle?
It's there.
Where?
It's in our ancient knowledge of Nunum. Our knowledge that when a snake bites you, this is what you do. It's in our knowledge that when you see this bird, it's going to rain. All those ancient knowledges, which we think that a scientist is someone who wears a white overcoat and he's in a certain thing. Our farmers are scientists. Our mothers are scientists. When they put charcoal in soup that's going bad, and it makes the soup good, that's science. When a farmer knows that I've just been cut on the farm, I mean, get a champo. That's science. How we brush our teeth. You see today the toothpaste are now putting charcoal in their toothpaste. Because we used to use ash. That's natural. So we'll go back to square one. You'll see. We'll go back to square one. We will not be able to continue doing plastic, eating plastic. You buy soup, hot soup. It's melting. By the time you get home, there's a layer of plastic in your food.
I was shocked when I went to the forest last time and we were coming. Sometimes I decide to walk. They will leave me and I will walk. Depends on the time. And I was coming and I saw baby Omoye in Seifu palm wine. Now, even palm wine, instead of putting the calabash there, they are all using gallons. Hey!
The gallon. And the gallon, anything plastic, it will eat. If you put anything which is strong in medicine, it will eat on the layer. So that's why if you do medicine, put in glass. If you want to put medicine,
we want easy way.
We think it's the easy way.
God.
Because like I said, condemn, when you spray your farm, you think, oh, I'll just buy 1 bottle, I'll spray it. But 4 or 5 years, your children cannot farm on that land. You'll be wondering why. Because you see the earthworm, when you dig soil, you see earthworms, you see they make the soil, they make holes in the soil, they form the soil.
You kill all of them.
When you spray, everything dies. Then become a hard thing. Then you want to make magic from it. You can't choose. So our ancestors knew.
You can't find snails like before.
Mushrooms.
We can't see mushrooms. Already.
And these were all residual income, extra money for the farmer, because he didn't plant mushrooms. He didn't make snails.
Even if he doesn't have money, he will eat with those things.
You see. Then there are so many things.
So we go. My own emotion.
Let's go back to traditional living. Let's stop using chemicals on our food. Don't think that is the easiest way. Chemicals on the land, they're killing you. The exposure to chemicals, so many people have cancer that they don't know came from exposure to the chemical. In the rural areas, the farmers, out of ignorance, they can even taste the condemn to know whether is it strong? Like, have I mixed it well?
Taste it.
They will taste it. I've been to farms where the farmer has cut the container and made it into a cup. He's drinking from the cup. He'll tell you that, oh, I've washed it. But you can never wash that plastic container. Any water you put in it, it will pull some out. So there's a lot of ignorance on it. But, you know, the funny thing is, it comes from leadership. Because in Europe, these chemicals, a lot of them are banned. They don't even come in the country. There's no one, when the ship meets at Tema, the first inspection comes with the dogs and the lights. Hey, what's this? This ship is not coming to this country. But we are lax. We're easy. We don't respect ourselves. It comes back to respect yourself, black man, black woman. Everything else will fall in place.
Everything else will fall in place. Sometimes you just even don't know what to say.
Agama lizard. When's the last time you saw an agama lizard? Today is 22 years since I came to Ghana. I came back home 22 years ago. Around this afternoon, landed at Kotoka, Ghana Airways, one of the last Ghana Airways flights. I remember the first year, rainy season, when I'm driving on Liberation Road, past Boom Junction, going to, you see frogs, hundreds of frogs jumping on the road, rainy season, I swear to God, anybody who has a memory. Now today, you won't see one frog on Ring Road jumping across the road.
Frog, okay.
Agama lizard, every wall you see it in the morning with his red head. Today, when was the last time you saw one?
That's the issue. Those
small flies that make a green light in the evening, they used to be everywhere. So when those things are disappearing, the human being should know that it is reaching us. Yes,
too sad.
Yeah.
The young ones are dying.
Yeah.
How can you taste the edro? And how do you even use this poisonous thing, the container for drinking water?
A cup. Because he's not aware. He thinks that the thing will only kill the weed.
It will not kill any.
And you see, this is part of the irresponsibility of these companies in themselves. And that when they first brought these things to Africa, the education was not there. In fact, they told most people that this thing will help you. This thing is good for you.
Some of the radio stations,
oh.
What do we promote?
Yeah, no.
I'm looking for a way out. The complaints is enough.
No.
I'm really
start
really
like you're saying with your
out.
farming. That's where it is. Start with influencing a community. Like where I am, I'm telling the community and my neighbors that look, I don't farm with the condemn. This is what it does. This is what it does to you. You stop it. Before you know it, there's bigger communities that don't spray. You go to a village where the chief says, hey, here, who born dog? You won't do it. Before you know it, there'll be lots of areas where you go to this place. Then you will see physically. When you go to a place, you say, hey, Charlie, they have this and that because they are doing something different. So we'll have to learn the hard way, Mom.
As at how, I don't know. It's gotten to the thickest forest, and people are using it.
Condemn.
How did this happen?
I went to the most remote part of the Volta region, walking to Vley Falls, and the first time I went there, the path was green. The next time I went there, only the path was brown. Somebody has been spraying it because they are now lazy to cut the path. I said, look, the water that we were drinking, which is the nicest water, in a few years we won't drink that water again. It will be gone forever. So this condemn thing is a deep word, but it's doing exactly what its name is. So we have to teach our children, stay away from GMO, and that's why we're telling the Ghana Food Authority, FDA, that if, according to what the government says, they want to release GMO cowpeas on us, they better make sure that those cowpeas are labeled everywhere they are sold. They must
we are able to differentiate.
So that you can make an informed decision. As a mother, you go to the market, you see somebody has
a... I being them. Into what this is why now being yes, you pentam, you pentama kwejuma.
So it will come back to what you want for yourself. If you value yourself, I don't think you eat just anything. So if you are like that, you wouldn't just want anything for your children. And let's pray that our policymakers learn from other countries. You go to Brazil, go to Argentina, go to India, where they've been growing GMO for years. In India, over 200,000 farmers, 200,000 farmers, more than that, this number I'm quoting is from a few years back, have committed suicide because they've used these chemicals to burn and kill their land. You know that in India, they have this caste system. On the lowest caste, you have the least land. Just like Ghana, you are a widow, you have a small piece of land. If you use condemn on your land and you condemn your land,
where do you go?
Who's going to give you more land? So it is more costly in the long run. So thinking that we're going to follow people's ways, you'll come back to square one. You remember snakes and ladders. You get to 98 and you have to come back to 2. That's what Africans are doing. Without understanding who we are, we'll keep going round and round and round in circles. So respect yourself. Everybody else will have to respect you. If you respect yourself, other people will have to respect you.
Na respect you could have found what two baby now can be ashamed or did you watem? So respect no, I had this accident among Ghanaians. You will drive carefully. Somebody will just drive and come and hit your car. So nobody is respecting anybody. You that is driving well, somebody has hit your car. Same accident, you are part of it. So respect
is the canker of our society is crumbling in the sense that our standards, because before you did something wrong, other people will hold you accountable. Say, hey, don't do this. But now you have to struggle to, you can't tell a child right now, what are you doing in school? Where are you supposed to be? You look at you like, are you mad? Mind your own business. But remember those days, if you were shy to be seen wearing school uniform and you're not in school. Because if somebody asks you, hey, where are you going to school? You'll be in trouble. When you get home too, your mother will beat you on top of that because you've done something wrong. Today now, because of new morals, you can't even beat children. Somebody, oh, don't. I'm not saying beat children too, but there must be discipline. African society was a disciplined society. Look at how we respect our chiefs. There was a hierarchy. Before you greet a chief, how we do. There was a way we lived. So if we don't go back to those things, those are the things that guided our ancestors to where we are. Don't forget, we've lived on this planet for millions of years. We're not the first people. That's what eludes our mind and we think we're so special. People have lived here for millennia. They didn't have these problems of their liver or their kidney. People were living till 120 years old and older. They didn't have these problems. But when you forget yourself, this is what it manifests in. So Sankofa, and I'm glad that this your show deals with these issues of going back to collect what is useful for us in our culture, our food, our way of life. And
what has this got to do with marriage? Hey, until who bewitched us like this? As somebody is serious, so why if you part mesu?
It's a very serious.
Let's leave this one here, please. Your last words and your social media where people can get through to you and ask questions.
Okay. So you can see us on foodsovereigntyghana.org, www.foodsovereigntyghana.org, or look for us on Facebook, Food Sovereignty Ghana on Facebook. Like our page, read our page. That's where you'll find factual messages that maybe you'll not see in other places about what you should be opening your eyes to. And continue to watch Revelations and Jerome TV.
Abusia, why? Please, if possible, stay away from sugar. Run away from sugar. Brodo white and mususundi. Pamucho. Nanyade way or mobile in be anyone there. Wow. Abusia, near Duania, Yedia, who did you when did you? bibi ba ya ubenyi a ubenyi ubewu a ubewu ma ya hwe ne ma na ye di ni su ye na mensusu we nam no pochi. Our time is done. Give us 5 foods people should stay away from. I've given them sugar. Okay. Sugar, they stay away from it.
Sugar like, is one of the most addictive. They say it's the most addictive substance on the planet, in the sense that you can even pass sugar addiction on to your children. And sugar is something that once it goes in your body, it works like a poison. It will break you down. So sugar does its own thing, and then sugar turns acidic into the body, and then the result of acidic body is its own problems of cancer and all. So if you want to starve cancer, you cut sugar from your diet, you cut dairy from your diet. Those are things that they thrive on. But eat healthy, eat local foods, eat food which is fresh. The other day I was in the eastern region, I saw a pile of some food, and then there were flies all over it, black. And when the woman did this, the flies all went zzz. It was fresh amankane that has come from the soil. It is so fresh that it is like, it smells like iron when you touch it. But by the time it gets to the market, it looks different, and its power is going down. Power is going down. So that's why our ancestors used to go to the market, to the farm every morning. Not because they are silly. We could have made a store at the house and then we go there on the weekend. So why are we going to walk to this farm today? The food you bring out of the soil that day, it's doing something different for your body. That's why Maame Grace is 19, she's walking to a farm, and then people in Jawulu at 40 years, they can't sit up, and so on and so forth. So take good care of your health. Eat local food and live life.
Eat local food and live life. What? We don't want to lose anybody. Why? Don't be like, I'm not part of those who are talking about flat tummy. I'm not available. Be available. We want you to live. Okay? Me here TV station. So this will get to every corner. Shalom. Papa, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you too. Thank you too.